do something different. So I think it's just going to go with the experience and I'm going to have fun with it.
Coach, what role do you envision Luka playing in the offense?
What role?
Yeah.
I think, just as I sat here last year and projected Dennis as a starter, I would do the same here. I think Luka's going to be a starter for us. I think he's going to play with Harrison and Dennis. I think those three guys are going to complement each other very well. In terms of the position, I don't really know exactly. I believe that Luka can play the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4. If you watched Harrison this year, particularly at the end of the year, you saw him handling the ball, and he can probably play all of those positions as well. Dennis is mostly a point guard, but he's learned to play off the ball a little bit. And so today's game is so much about flexibility and being able to do different things both on offense and on defense. I feel like Luka's position is on the floor, playing, in many instances, trying to slot a guy into a certain role or a certain position can be counterproductive. And so as we sit here today on June 22nd, I think he's got an extremely bright future. Same way I felt about Dennis last year, and we were able to sign Harrison 2 summers ago. And I think him and Jalen really fit what we're trying to do here, as Michael Finley mentioned.
Luka, even before you were drafted to the Mavericks, there were Steve Nash comparisons thrown out there. Do you feel like your game is similar to Steve's in any way? And also, whose game do you feel like your game matches up with?
Yeah, Steve is, to be like Steve Nash, it's taken a lot, with the work so much, but I received a message from Steve. He's a close friend with Bill, and it was just amazing, that Steve Nash texted me, it was just amazing, but I already know about my game, I don't want to compare me to anybody because, all the players in the NBA are so much higher level, so I would like to compare my game.
If I could say one thing about this, if you watch Luka's game and you look at some of the great international players that have come into the NBA over the last couple of decades, I was fortunate. I got to coach Straza Petrovic for 2 years back in the early 90s before he tragically passed. There are some of those elements in his game. Tony Kukoc, was a great playmaker with size. There are elements of Kukoc's game with what Luka does. Ginobili, is another great international player. There are some elements of Ginobili's game, but I really feel it's important that we shouldn't try to compare this guy to anybody. Let him be himself. Let his game take its own form. We're going to let these guys grow together. The young players we've had here the last 2 years have flourished. Yogi was undrafted. Finney Smith was undrafted. Right now, those guys should have been in the top 15 in the draft 2 years ago. Dennis, started every game that he was available to play last year. And so, Luka's going to have a great opportunity here. Jalen's going to have a great opportunity here. And I think all these guys are going to fit together extremely well.
Jalen over here. I'm curious, as somebody who actually covered games that your dad played in, he did it with grit and determination and a fair amount of speed too. How much of all that did he instill into you, and how much will that help you?
I think every last bit of it. I've been able to listen to him for the past 21 years of my life. Everything he's told me to do in life is translated to basketball in some way. He's always told me to be a follower. Be a leader, not a follower. He's always told me to work hard in everything I do and just take pride in everything I do. Just the way he's taught me about life are translated into basketball, and it's definitely prepared me for this moment. And then I'm going to continue to listen to him. He's very, very wise, I'm happy I had someone like that in my years.
Luka, as the NBA game has evolved over the course of the last couple of years, I know you're a fan and watch.
It's quicker. The court is wide open. It's more open than in the EuroLeague. I like to play the game quickly. I think it would benefit me. And Jennifer didn't text me yet.
That's a good thing.
One of the things that the front office guys said last night was that you impressed them at the combine by saying that you were looking forward to not only sharing a backcourt with Dennis, but pushing him in practice and competing with him. So how much are you looking forward to getting with him and pushing each other in practice, helping each other get better?
I'm definitely excited. He's obviously a very good talent, and just seeing him from where he was, where we were in high school at a CP3 camp to where he is now, where I am now, it's pretty special. But yeah, I'm willing to do anything to make my teammates better, to make myself better. I'm a competitor. I work hard every day. I'm never satisfied with anything I do. I always just trying to strive for greatness, and I'm just going to push myself, push them as best I can.
Rick, do you look at these two guys as facilitators in a more maybe even a return to what your flow offense was when you won the championship, and maybe not so much pick and roll into pick and roll, but just where everybody's touching the ball and kind of a Golden State, Philadelphia kind of look to your offense?
We're playing Mavs basketball. We're not trying to copy anybody else. Number one, okay. These guys fit so well in so many ways. Both of these guys are guys that are givers by nature on the floor. They both have demonstrated leadership qualities. They both shoot the ball with range, which opens up space for teammates. They both understand the importance of cutting and moving and giving yourself up, without necessarily being able to even touch the ball, but those kinds of things help get shots for your teammates. And so, it's kind of like in football, defensive coordinators are always saying, they can never have enough cornerbacks and, defensive guys guarding receivers. You can never have too many playmakers in the NBA. And, we picked up two more guys that can really make plays. Jalen more so from the point position, Luka really from, I think, multiple positions. Him playing four is going to be a problem for teams to match up with. And same way it was for Harrison. We had Harrison playing three at the end of the year, and he took some real steps, getting back to that position, which is probably a more natural position for him.
Luka, you're one of the most hyped up players coming out of Europe that this league's ever seen. Is the high expectations, the hype, is that something you embrace?
Yeah. A lot of guys in the NBA draft was like, "Oh, you're real Luka," nobody seen me. But yeah, I like challenges. When they say you're gonna be good, I like to be challenged. And when they say you're not gonna be good, I say, let's see. When I step on the court, I need to show. No matter the pick you are, you need to show it on the court.
This is for Coach. This team is getting drastically younger, and I know that comes with patience. Can you talk about that, just as a coach? I know you, in the past, there's always been this thing about veterans and things, but now you're getting two young guys, and can you talk about that, just the patience part and everything going forward?
Yeah, the last 2 years, I mentioned it. Our young guys have really flourished here. Now, when you go with younger guys, you're going to take hits. You're going to lose games, and that is difficult. But those difficult experiences the last couple of years, ended up with us being able to draft Dennis, draft Luka and Jalen. We had high picks in the first and second round. But now we've got to turn this thing back in a winning direction, and it's early in the summer. There are still more moves to be made, and I think what we have demonstrated from top to bottom, with both management and the coaching staff, is that we are extremely patient. But last night was symbolic to me that it was a kind of a defining moment in this rebuild, and we're gonna propel forward with the idea that we got to start winning games. and we've got to do everything possible to create an amazing chemistry with these young men, and everybody's got to be tied together. They're involved in something bigger than their own individual things, and that can be a challenging thing to get across to young players. But we've got the character with this group of guys. Talking about Harrison, Dennis, Luka, Jalen, Yogi, Finney-Smith, all these guys to do that. And going forward, we're going to do better in terms of winning games. That's the number one goal.
Jalen, do you take it as an affront at all that you're unanimous National Player of the Year, you've won 2 national championships in the last 3 years, and you weren't a first-round pick, and in fact you were the 4th guy on your own team to be picked in this draft? Does that propel you in any way? I know you've been around the pro game, you kind of understand how all this works, but do you think maybe you've been undersold a little bit by the NBA?
Honestly, I'm just really thankful that I got the opportunity with this organization, most importantly. But like I said before, I'm not satisfied with anything I do. If the things I've done in the past, I'll share those things after I retire. But as of right now, I'm continuing to get better, continuing to push forward. Not really worrying about what other people think of me, or what should have happened, I guess you can say. But I'm here now, and I'm ready to work, and I'm ready to move forward.
I have a question for Jalen and Luka. For the fans and media, what is your best attribute that we don't see that you guys possess on the court?
Honestly, I think the most important thing for me when it comes to just being a team player is having the relationships with your teammates. I think that's not a thing that people really think about. It can go a long way. Being able to connect with your teammates can help you with chemistry on the court, being able to trust guys and things like that. So being able to have relationships with those guys is really one thing that I think is really important.
Yeah, almost the same thing as you said, and I think you need to have a good chemistry with your teammates, your coaches, everybody in the team. That's something that's really important for winning.
Let's take a couple more questions.
Donnie, you said last night that Dirk wasn't done any favors in his first couple of years, and therefore your comments were going to be reserved. Was there something you said 20 years ago, or was it your dad's fault?
I think it just got out there, and again, to Rick's point, comparisons. It's easy to fall into that. Each of these guys have their own signature they're going to put on their game. We do have to be patient, and that's part of the thing that you give up. And to me, we're very lucky that we have a championship coach that also rolls his sleeves up and spends time with all of our guys in the summer, and he's the first in there and the last to leave in terms of helping these guys get better. And these guys are going to go through their hard knocks. Dennis went through it last year. Harrison went through it in his rookie year. And we have to let this thing come together and grow. It wasn't 20 years ago, Bill, when the floppy-haired Canadian was getting booed in his own building, and Dirk was getting thrown around like a rag doll. A lot of people think he didn't belong in the league. He was thinking about going back to Europe. So that's the reality of what these young guys, they're playing against men. They're playing against not just outsider gym, but insider gym. Those are guys that are providing for families. This is the highest level on the planet Earth. And so you absolutely need to bring it every single day. The good news is that we got 2 winners. Like I said, you look at probably from when these guys picked up a basketball on every level that they've won, and that's just the DNA that I'm sitting next to.